This is Euphoric Legworks Biased Unbiased with your host, Garrett Merriman.
What is up, everybody? Do I have a fun show for you guys today? Welcome to the Biased Unbiased NBA Trade Extravaganza. Today I'm going to be going over 3 scenarios that could possibly change the landscape of the NBA if these teams made these trades in the upcoming weeks. I'm going to be giving you rationales for each trade as well. So don't think I'm just going to give you a trade and be like, this team needs to make it. I'm going to tell you why this team needs to make it and how it's going to improve or not improve their team, but also help them in the long run. So with that being said, let's go ahead. Let's get started with the NBA Trade Extravaganza. All right, before we get started with the trade scenarios, I want everybody to be aware that I used ESPN's trade machine to verify that all the numbers and salaries matched up, and RealGM.com to make sure that all the draft picks existed. Now, our first trade of the day is Golden State trades Klay Thompson to Boston for Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, and Brooklyn's first-round draft pick. Boston will get an all-star guard who can play the 2 or the 3 and provide the scoring that Bradley brought, plus the defense of Crowder. Boston will give up the first-round draft pick that is owed to them from Brooklyn, but Golden State will have other plans for that in just a minute. This trade frees up the loaded backcourt of Boston just a little bit. It will give Jaylen Brown his much-needed playing time. His per 36 stats this year are roughly 15 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists. Just being able to let him play will give him the experience needed to develop into the superstar that Boston drafted him to be at number 3 over the summer. Now, Golden State will get the scoring and defense lost, albeit in 2 different players. But you can put Bradley on the bench to provide scoring with the second unit. And with Golden State being a positionless team, you can plug Crowder in at the shooting guard and can guard anybody on the court. However, the real prize of this trade will be the first rounder from Brooklyn, which will be turned into the catalyst for this next trade. The Golden State Warriors trade Andre Iguodala and Brooklyn's first-round draft pick to the 76ers for Nerlens Noel. Once again, Golden State gets back a player who can drastically help their defense, which has been subpar at best. Noel is a rim protector who can also clean up the glass, get back in transition, and help switch everything. Plus, Iggy just hasn't been himself this year and is actually hurting the Warriors more than he is helping. Time is running low on Iggy's career, so why not send him back to the team that helped make his career? The Sixers will be taking on a huge $11 million contract, but it's only for 1 year. They can let him walk in free agency or retire, plus they will get that first rounder from Brooklyn that can be used to pick another great talent to either fill the void at shooting guard or point guard in this loaded draft class. Now, it also allows the Sixers to clear the logjam they have been building in the front court. They can trade Noel knowing Joel Embiid is the next Sixers superstar. Plus, it will clear minutes for Okafor to develop as well, possibly dangling him as trade bait in the future. Most of all, it allows Ben Simmons to sit out the rest of this year to let that foot heal without being obligated to try and play, giving the Sixers a young core to develop internally. Remember, trust the process. So, the new lineups for these teams are Golden State's lineup is Curry, Crowder, Durant, Green, Noel, with the 6th-man Avery Bradley. The Celtics' new starting 5 is Thomas, Thompson, Brown, Johnson, and Horford, and Marcus Smart as a 6th man. The 76ers will roll out this year Rodriguez, Henderson, Iguodala, Saric, and Embiid, with the 6th man as Okafor. The next trade on the docket is a complicated one, but stay with me. It's a 3-team trade involving the Kings, Nuggets, and Clippers. The Kings will receive from the Nuggets Nikola Jokic, Jameer Nelson, Memphis first-rounder, top 5 protected, and Denver first-rounder, top 3 protected, as well as J.J. Redick from the Clippers. The Nuggets will receive DeMarcus Cousins from the Kings and Paul Pierce from the Clippers, and the Clippers get Omri Caspi and Ben McLemore from the Kings. Now, I know this trade makes you literally say, what the F, but hear me out. Cousins is unhappy in Sacramento, and he has been wanting to get out for a long time. The Nuggets need a superstar to build a team around desperately. And the Clippers need the most wing help in the league. That leads to this trade. The Nuggets get their superstar in Cousins, plus they receive Paul Pierce from the Clippers to help mentor all the young players they have on their roster. They clear a loaded front court a little bit by unloading Jokic, as well, and can move Nurkic to the bench or trade him later on. Now, the question everyone is wondering, why would the Kings trade Cousins? Well, for starters, they have 2 centers in waiting that need playing time to be able to develop. But the biggest reason is that the Kings only keep their 2017 first-round draft pick if it falls in the top 10. Now, I don't condone tanking, but the Kings are way too good with Cousins to be able to keep that pick. So in this trade, they would be giving up Cousins, McLemore, and Caspi. McLemore isn't what the Kings were hoping for, but is a good shooter from deep and a capable defender. Caspi had a great year last year, but the Kings keep burying him on their bench for some reason. Being moved to the Clippers gives them the wing help they need, but also allows those 2 to get better minutes than they were in Sacramento. The 2 first-rounders are also the only way that the Kings will give up Cousins, giving them 3 first-round picks in the loaded 2017 draft. The Clippers give themselves some much-needed cap space to re-sign Griffin and Paul over the summer as well if they decide to opt out, which is a big possibility given the salary cap explosion. The new starters for those teams would be the Kings, Collison, Redick, Gay, Jokic, and Cauley Stein, with a 6th man, Garrett Temple. The Nuggets would be Moutier, Harris, Gallinari, Fareed, and Cousins with a 6th man, Chandler. And the Clippers would be Paul, McLemore, Caspi, Griffin, Jordan, with the 6th man, Crawford. Our last trade of the day could turn a solid team into a contender and help a floundering team get young talent through the draft. This trade consists of the Thunder giving up Kyle Singler, Andre Roberson, and a 2017 first-round draft pick to the Wizards for Otto Porter Jr. Now this one sounds a little crazy as well, but let's look at Washington for a second. This year, they have been one, if not the most disappointing team. Tension between Wall and Beal has caused the team to not gel correctly and effectively. With this trade, they send away a promising young player for 2 players that are below average in skill. But they can cut Singler right away, and OKC will still be on the hook for his salary. Roberson is only on contract until the end of the season, and they can either re-sign him for his defense or they can let him walk. They only need to make this trade for their first-round pick from OKC. Now, if they make this trade, OKC is going to win a few games, so that could hurt their draft position from OKC. But this is going to cause the Wizards to lose even more games, making their pick that they own themselves skyrocket to the top. And with how this draft class is shaping up, OKC's pick is still going to be very valuable even late in the rounds. They can turn those picks into future talent to help this team later on. And OKC will get the small forward they have been needing for scoring and defense since the departure of KD, and it will keep most of their young core intact. Porter Jr. is also a young upcoming player who will be needed to be re-signed this summer, but will give the Thunder a championship team around Russell Westbrook. The new starting lineups would be the Thunder, Russell Westbrook, Oladipo, Porter Jr., Sabonis, and Adams with the 6th man, Cantor. The Wizards would be Wall, Bill, Roberson, Morris, Gortat with the 6th man, Trey Burke. So as I was saying, these trades could change the entire landscape of the NBA. Whether a team is adding an all-star, improving its defense, bolstering an already solid team, or preparing for the future, these teams should really seriously consider these trades. All right, everybody, that's my show. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe for future episodes, and make sure you like us on Facebook and Twitter at Unbiased, and my sponsor's Facebook page, Euphoric Legwork. All right, everybody, have a great night. Thanks.
You just watched Biased Unbiased with Garrett Merriman. Follow us on Twitter at Euphoric Legwork.